Hi, I'm Tessa Rickard, a nutritionist passionate about helping you to eat joyfully and digest like a pro. Last week we talked about the microbiome. I covered the forest analogy, the rainforest, where your beautiful big bacteria are the big tall soaring trees that create a foundation for the forest, and then you've got other bacteria like moss on the trees, creepers on the trees, ferns that cover the forest floor, and that they all work together in this environment where they all keep each other in check. So today I'm covering what can go wrong in the microbiome. So what can happen when those big beautiful trees can get cut down and those creepers or that moss can overgrow. So one of the ways that things can go wrong is when opportunistic bacteria like this moss, something like say E. coli, which is meant to be found in our gut in small amounts, is able to fill the void when those big trees have been cut down and completely overgrow. So when I was a kid, I had chronic tonsillitis and I was given that awful liquid banana penicillin several times a year until the age of 12 when I had them removed. So I have got some of those major trees cut down big time when I was young, and I've been working on repairing my microbiome for quite a few years. It's going quite well, actually. So one of the ways that things can go wrong is that these opportunistic bacteria that overgrow, they contain lipopolysaccharides, which is an endotoxin in their cell wall. So in small amounts, not such a big deal, but when they're overgrown and there's tons of this bacteria, you've suddenly got these endotoxins circulating throughout your body, and quite a lot of them. So if you've got dysbiosis, it's very likely that you're going to have, some element, depending on how much, it's hard to say, of leaky gut. And so what can happen is those lipopolysaccharides will leave the gut, go through the gut lining, that leaky gut lining, and they will make their way into the bloodstream where they can go all throughout the body. They place a huge burden on the liver, and that's high lipopolysaccharides has been associated with liver disease. They can also cross the blood-brain barrier, and scientists have experimented by giving people a dose of lipopolysaccharides, and it can actually induce depression for a few hours. So imagine if you've got them circulating all the time. It's not good. Other symptoms include poor memory and brain fog, because the lipopolysaccharides can cross the blood-brain barrier quite easily as well. So you've got a really busy liver, you might have a bit of brain fog and fatigue, but there are some other conditions that have been associated with high levels of circulating lipopolysaccharides as well. So behavioral disorders, liver disease, Alzheimer's, so neurological conditions like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's as well, and diabetes. So the other thing that dysbiosis can do is just cause a lot of inflammation, partly due to LPS, but also other things as well. It's quite complex. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with the microbiome, and it can create a bit of a cascade. And that inflammation can really lead to a breakdown of function in the gastrointestinal tract. And that's when you can often see people with IBS symptoms, with disordered bowel motion. So they might have diarrhea, constipation, bloating, fatigue, bad breath, nausea is a big one as well, difficulty concentrating, and that whole brain fog and fatigue picture too. And they can also have conditions like anxiety and depression. So dysbiosis has been associated with the following conditions: IBS, inflammatory bowel disease, diabetes, obesity, intestinal permeability, aka leaky gut, liver disease, because the liver is so busy dealing with all those toxins, neurological conditions as well. So Parkinson's and dementia are another big picture with this one, and then eczema and allergies. So there's tons of research now into dysbiosis, especially in children and infants, and how it can affect their immunity as they grow up, and it can cause
It's 3:00.
issues like allergies, eczema, all those atopic conditions, even asthma as well is part of that picture. So there you have it, some of the way things can go wrong. Next week I'm going to talk about why things are going wrong, and is there anything you can do about it. Please share this video with anyone who you think might benefit from this. This is information to be shared, and I'll see you next week.